Hello! If anyone watches this back, because I don't think anyone's watching now, because I've just started. But we'll see. I am doing my usual, getting myself ready. I am going to make a cocktail called the Yolanda. Hey, Celtic, how you doing? I'm just going to read a little article. Okay, bring back the Yolanda. (1930s) Candied Martini. There we go. And Heine, hello as well. And the Angry Family is good. Thank you, Celtic. I hope you and yours all good too. All right, I am going. Oh, wait, that's the other thing I wanted. Orange peel. Okay. Do an orange peel as a garnish. Okay, that's pretty good. Let's see, can I trim the edges of this easily? What am I doing? What am I doing? I got a little knife here. Not a very sharp one, but I don't need a very sharp one. I'm just gonna trim that edge. Nicely done. Just making my garnish a bit more pretty. There we go. Trim that raggedy edge off. And this raggedy edge. Okay. Do. Okay, zot's ready. So, no. Oh, I forgot the fucking camera, honestly. Excuse me, Captain. Hello, Safa. Got the biggest shock. Okay. Well, you can tell me about it in a minute. Okay. What a goose. Getting the camera gear. All right, I'm back. I'm going to set up to make this a cocktail. Celtic, you saw the J-Dubs talking to people. Someone with clear mental health issues started yelling at them and started throwing sticks at them. That's not cool. Hello, Hannah. All right. Let me go. String. Where's the search on this? All right. So, getting together these ingredients were coconut gin, pisco. Wo ist meine pisco? Really? I'm a fake pisco. There it is. I don't know anyone. Fake pisco. Rose water. A drop of absinthe. Jesus fucking Christ, honestly. Okay. I'm going to actually have a little, just a teeny rant in this video. So, Hannah, you found Best Boy at Work. Posted video in the Discord. Oh, God. Best toy. Well, I do that in a bit. I sit down with a cocktail. Let's see. Okay, so let's get our Nick and Nora glass and sip some Ice Baby in it. Okay, that will do for now. We'll put this on here. Yeah. And then Singapore. There's honestly a lot of fapping about tonight. Apologies for that. Okay. Und the GoPro. Okay, so that's there. The mixing glass is there. Okay. Okay. Okay, so Blanc he's good. All right. All the beets are ready. All right, so 3/4 of an ounce. Okay, we'll go 1.5 of this stuff. Quarters of an ounce. Coconut gin. Do. Okay, got all those bitties ready. Surfer, your back wheels and tires were stolen. Okay, yeah, that's a shock. That is that's weird. Getting your wheels stolen. That is weird. Okay, that's good. And we'll start. Okay. 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 Right. So that's for the ingredients. Got a few ingredients. There's a little bit of faffing about. All right. So put the ice in place. Maybe a little bit. Okay. Put these glands here. So, that actually looks pretty good. That down. Gotta take a picture of this. Where's my phone? Oh, this is a bit of a carry-on, isn't it? Hey, Loogie, how you doing? At least I didn't steal the doors. That's very philosophical. Come on, right down. That's not what I wanted. No, we'll do. We'll do. Oh, goodness me. Okay. Now for this. That will do. That's ready. G'day, cocktail lovers. This is a version of a cocktail called Yolanda. Now, the original Yolanda, or the earliest thing we have a print record of, is in the 1930s Savoy cocktail book. And this is a modernized take from a bartender in Portland, Maine. Car going past. I want to quickly go on the record and say Liana Sanabria, I want to quickly go on the record and say Liana Sanabria, the bartender who created this, is almost definitely a better bartender than I would ever be. Okay. And I preface that because this gets a little finicky ingredient wise. And to me, this is the sort of thing that when you see the recipe, you're like, this is why people think the cocktail world is full of wankers. I think she is probably not a wanker. I think this makes sense when you're running your own bar and you may be going to serve a lot of these. From the home bar, the recipe as used, I found this on the Punch Drink website. It just doesn't make sense. I'm going to taste it first because I haven't even tasted it because I want to know what this is like. And it's good. It is a good drink. It is a cousin of a martini. And there were a lot of martini variants in the early 20th century, which is the lineage of this one. But I'll take you through the ingredients and explain where, for my money, it goes off the rails a bit and it's just getting a little silly. One of the reasons it caught my eye is it's specifically called for coconut gin. So I get to use my coconut gin from Steve the Bartender's Threefold Distilling. It's really nice. And in fact, like I said, the recipe says use coconut gin. I often use it in tropical cocktails in place of white rum. It's very versatile. It's really quite nice. A sweeter style gin. It goes with a lot of things. But hey, they asked for coconut gin. I've got coconut gin. It also calls for blanc vermouth, which translates as white vermouth. Now, that is not really about the color of. It also calls for blanc vermouth, which translates as white vermouth. And it's not really about the color, unless the color is important to you. It's about the relative sweetness of the vermouth. Blanc is traditionally between sweet and dry. And I'm using this, which is a Rosa, red grape vermouth, but sweetness, it's between sweet and dry. It's equivalent to most blanc vermouths. So in terms of flavor, this fits in. In terms of color, it gives the drink a pink blush. So I think I'll call mine the Blushing Yolanda or Yolanda's Blush. I'll have to decide. It also calls for Pisco, which is a grape brandy. And honestly, so far, it's not that weird. Like I said, it's related to a martini. It's split the spirit base between gin and a brandy. No biggie there. And it's still got the vermouth. But then we get it calls for a bar spoon or 5 mils of a rose and apple. It calls for a bar spoon or 5 mils of a rose and apple infused Pinot de Charon or Charente. It's a French wine. It's French aromatized or fortified wine. Or maybe it qualifies as one or the other or both. It comes from the Cognac region and it starts, with the aromatized wine like vermouths, but then it's blended with unaged cognac. And so it's not technically speaking cognac. It's a new made spirit which could eventually become cognac. So it's a fortified wine. And yes, in this bar, they do their own infusion with rosebuds and apple. And there's only about, it's like this really fringe wine element and a very particular infusion. And there's only 5 mils with things that have pretty strong flavors. And I'm just going, this is why people say the cocktail world is full of wankers. Honestly, look, it's probably noticeable. But you know what? I have neither that wine or the time to do an infusion for something I'm only ever going to make once. I'm quite confident. It's a nice drink, but I'm confident I'm never going to be particularly driven to make it again. So going with the apple and rose bit and French. This is a French apple liqueur, which is really nice. I'm going to put 5 mils of this in and I'm going to put a couple of drops of rose water in. Oh, and just to get really fussy and persnickety and wanky in my thing, they say one drop of absinthe. And I'm just, people are not going to taste that. But you know what? I'm going to do it anyway. Got to bring this all together and now I'll show you how I made it. In your mixing glass, put 1.5 ounces or 45 mils of your Blanc or equivalent vermouth, then 3/4 of an ounce or 22.5 mils of coconut gin. Follow that with 3/4 of an ounce or 22.5 mils of Pisco, and then a bar spoon of, your apple, whatever you're putting in. Then I did a couple of drops of rose water, and I did add 1 drop of absinthe. Add up to the glass, stir that for 20 to 25 seconds to chill and dilute the drink, and then strain that into a chilled Nick and Nora and give it a strain that into a chilled Nick and Nora glass and give it a garnish of a citrus twist. Maybe I'm a cynic. Maybe your eyes don't roll as hard as mine when someone does these tiny little touches that it's extremely questionable whether anyone would ever be able to taste them. But I'm all for experimentation. I'm all for self-expression. And like I said, I will acknowledge bartender who created this is almost definitely a better bartender than I will ever be. So really, no shade on them. It's just my personal thing that these tiny little touches can get a bit much. You know what? I like this. It is martini adjacent. It's sweeter, obviously. It's quite enjoyable, though. This is my Yolanda's blush. Maybe you want to try something similar yourself. Let me know. And let me know if you've ever tried that obscure Pinot de Charente, or Charente, if you know how to pronounce it. And let me know how everything's going. And I do hope to see you again soon, because I'll be back soon with more cocktails, and I'd love to see you here. But until I do see you again, I'll say cheers. Ooh, that was more difficult than average. Okay, how long did I spend? Like 20 minutes doing that. Okay, good. Switch a few things up. Oh my God, I don't know if anyone remembers me saying it on the stream the other night. I didn't switch off my audio recorder after shooting a video. So it was recording for an hour and a half, which was a really weird experience when I was editing and I put the audio track in and I was like, what the fuck is that? 2 minutes of video and an hour and a half of audio. Hey, Justin, how you doing? I just saw like this putting wheels on a car is much more difficult than. Oh no, I guess sorry. What I'm thinking of, yeah, no, they stole the. No, I misunderstood. We saying no. When people say steal tires, the whole wheel gets stolen. Yeah, okay. I wasn't thinking straight. Justin can't help but boast. Dirty and kinky weekend. Oh yeah. More power to you, brother. That's what I say. Perfect way to celebrate Pride Month. Dirty, dirty sex. Oh dear. Quiet with your dirty sex talk, Justin. I'm having a sophisticated beverage. We'll have none of your filthy sex here. I mean, you know me. I actively encourage people to tell filthy sex stories, but you know, don't go getting caught in any YouTube filters. Man, that's actually not bad at all. Yeah, actually, that's pretty wild, Safa, that someone's running around sub-zero temperatures, stealing tires. Calm down, Safa. Just like, you know, someone's getting some, get on it. I'm going to put the orange peel in there. What was I going to make next? Sorry, I was maybe going to do a short video. Okay. Yolanda, put that there. I was going to do Mezcal Jackson. Mezcal, amaretto, coconut rum, and bitters. And you've got a group of 3 15-year-olds run around trying to open doors. Got in someone's house, which is that's nasty. Oh, Ray's tired of being tired. You're working so hard, man. You know what? I don't usually wish violence on anyone, but they are asking for a bad outcome, basically. Uh, yeah, that's like we even refer to in internet security the very low level sort of attacks where script kiddies just run these scripts to try and find websites that have uh, no security whatsoever and call it doorknob rattling attacks. Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry, Hannah. Thank you for reminding. I need to go into the Discord. Where are we? Alrighty. All right. This is a little video. Okay. Let me see. Got to do a share screen here. Okay, where are we? Do this and full screen this. So it's a skull, 30 surprises inside. Oh, contains 28 pieces. Two of the surprises that there's less things than they said were in there. That is a bit weird. Ooh, gosh. Yeah, getting into someone's yard and disturbing a goose, that's a bad move. The geese will go you. I think one of the surprises that the friends we made along the way. That a hose that fires angry male Canadian geese that are in mating season. Yeah, no, the Australian geese are pretty angry too. Okay, and the other surprise is a maths lesson. I like the way you go with that. Oh, yeah, Sophie, you're saying big court stuff. That pilot who killed that old couple, guilty of one murder charge. So I don't know if the prosecution now thinks it's worth to retry him on the other one for manslaughter because it's interesting. People often get up in arms about the language used in courts, and they'll say, "Oh, of course he murdered them." And go, well, uh, murder has a very specific legal meaning. It doesn't just mean killing someone. He clearly killed both the people, but the jury decided only one of the killings met the legal definition of murder. I'm not sure, but I think the prosecution would have the opportunity to retry him for manslaughter on the other one. I don't know if they think that's worth it. They just go for a big sentence for the murder he's convicted of. And yes, Assange, the US decided to let Assange go. I think they finally said, like, yeah, you know what? You actually fucked your life up worse than our prison would have. So you have actually served time. So I guess we'll let you go. And he'll do one of two things now. What I think he should do, the smart thing, is just kind of disappear, keep a low profile, and just try and live life. What I think is probably more likely is he'll be very loud and probably a complete asshole because that's my personal opinion of him. He's an asshole. Two things can be true. The legal proceedings from in the UK and the US can mean overreach, uh, can be an abusive process, and Assange can still be a shithead because he is. And yes, British elections next week as well. What day is the 4th of July? I haven't even looked. It's a Thursday, so I will probably be doing a stream. Although we're too early. So it's maybe Friday nights will be when we have a result. So what do we think about the Criminal Conduct Act of 1913? Is this in relation to Assange, or are you talking about the murder trial? I doubt he would get into Parliament. Oh, he might get into the Senate, actually, on an independent thing. There is a small number of people who are hyper obsessed with him, but they're a very small number. Oh yeah, right. So you're talking about manslaughter. Yeah. Yeah, you can have deliberately. Well, I think there's scales of a premeditated murder, a murder where you definitely meant to kill the person, even if it wasn't premeditated. And then there's varying degrees of manslaughter where it's like, yes, you are responsible for that person's death, but on the balance of evidence, you didn't intend to kill them. You still killed them, but there was no intention behind it. So you're still criminally liable for their death. Oh god, is that right, Safa? Are they doing US? Oh my god, that could be wild because both of them are fucking losing their cognitive function. Quite honestly, so it could be absolutely wild. Ugh. All right, do I want to make this other drink? I think I do. Mezcal Amaretto, 25 mils. I'm doing 30 mils. Fuck it. Yeah. Fuck it. I'm doing 30 mils. This 25 mils is bullshit. Ooh, well, that's something they should do. Mute the other candidate's microphone when one's talking and no live audience. Okay. Yeah, well, there's no way RFK should be there. He's a fucking idiot and just a fringe element and not a serious part of the election. He's just a fucking sideshow. Oh, yeah, everyone loves Inside Out too. It sounds really good. Okay, I'm going to do. I love the name of this one, Mezcal Jackson. I don't think it's got anything to do with Michael Jackson. Someone just thought that was a funny name. And you know what? I applaud wordplay with cocktail names. So this is a short, so you don't get all my ranting, so it'll take much less time to do. Okay. Und so. Let's do this. You know what? I might use the same glasses. Oh, I just want to look it up. Actually. So what's happening, Loogie? It's getting interesting. Geriatric. Yeah, no, they're both fucking losing their cognitive function. It's not just Biden. The train has left the station in Trump's brain, basically. Ms. Cal. Oh, they're saying single flake of coconut. Huh. Oh, well. Okay, excuse me for a sec. I'm going to go out and get some of my sexy clear ice. This will just take a minute. I'm going to make some more this week, I think. All right. Alrighty, I'm back. It's me again once more. I'm back. I've been away, but now I'm back. Disaronno and coconut rum liqueur. Okay. 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 I got to. Burn the frost off this little jobby. Get my blowtorch. So I show off how clear the ice is by melting off the frost. Okay. Now I have to get the right bottles out. I've still got the other bottles, which are not the ones I want. Okay. Let's do that. Okay, so I'm putting this back in there. I knew there was something I was putting back in there. And getting my Mac liqueur. This out of the way. Put this back. Where does that live? Down here. With the brandies. This is with the gins. I drink a gin. Absinthe go down here. Rosebud go down here. Oh wait, no. Yeah. The coconut rum's here too. And mezcal. I was thinking, what else do I need? And obviously, with a drink called Mezcal Jackson, I need mezcal. And bitters. Aromatic bitters. Here we go. Okay. Sorry, Mr. Eels. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Right. I got all these bitties that are ready to go. Let's see what these old bitties can do. Okay. Very coconutty night tonight. Coconut gin and coconut rum. And All right. All right. Oh, baby, that's the way you are. Throw some ice in there. Ugh. Put more ice in there. That's all good in the hood. Okay. That's not recording, is it? No. Put these lids back on. Starting this up. Very smoky. Ooh, man, that's tasting good. All right, strain this in. All right. Woof, that's gone right to the top. There's an absolutely huge chunk of ice in that glass. I'll take a picture for publicity purposes. Okay. I'm going to talk a bit, and this is just a short. So this won't take long. I think I should be able to do it in 2 minutes because it's doing less long. See how many times I fuck up the talking. Oh, noisy car going fast. G'day, cocktail lovers. This is called a Mezcal Jackson. I guess the creator was a Michael Jackson fan and liked wordplay. I like wordplay, so I tried this. It's an equal parts cocktail. I did 30 mils of each, even though the recipe said 25. That seemed too hard to measure. But I want to try it now. Oh, smoky, sweet, and rich. This is really nice. Here's how I made it. In a mixing glass, put 1 ounce or 30 mils of mezcal, then 1 ounce or 30 mils of, well, it's meant to be amaretto. Then 1 ounce or 30 mils of, then 1 ounce or 30 mils of amaretto, and 1 ounce or 30 mils of coconut rum, and then just about half a drop, and then just a few drops of aromatic bitters. Add ice to the glass, stir that for 20 to 25 seconds to chill and dilute the drink, and then straining it into a rocks glass over a big chunk of sexy clear ice. Another car? Why are there so many cars? All of which gives us the Mezcal Jackson, which I think you really should try. Give it a go. Cheers. There's like no room in this. They've got that ridiculously large glass. It is tasty. That is good. I like it. I like it. Yeah, put a bit of orange peel in there. Why the hell not? All right. Oh, switch everything on. Sit down. Fool. Fool. Okay. Give myself some room. Turn off the bright lights. I don't want the bright light anymore. All right. All right. What? Okay. Yeah. Look, I reckon you're not alone in thinking the US Supreme Court should have term limits. It's sick and fucked up what's happening there, particularly with several of the justices so obviously being corrupt. But anyway. Oh, nice. You have lighting. Oh, I like your brewing experiments. Clear plastic bottle so you can watch the change. The juices assume the color. Actually, I have something to taste test tonight as well. I also can't drink this without slurping. That is random news. I hadn't heard that. Kenya sending police to Haiti. That's wild. Heine, that's when fucking everything went wrong. Reagan just got rid of all the protections for working people, gave corporations free rein to do whatever they want, and started the entrenchment of corruption in US politics. You just basically trace everything going to shit to the Reagan administration. Put some orange peel in there. That's some wacky stuff. Hey, Fallen Dreams, how you doing? I'm doing pretty good. I've made a couple of cocktails. I'm happy. Oh, is that actually? Oh, there you go. That's a fun bit of trivia, Justin. There was a referendum about forcing High Court judges, and also Australian High Court judges don't quite have the power of the US Supreme Court. Actually, I'm willing to be proven wrong on that, but we don't talk about them in day-to-day life the way Americans talk about the Supreme Court. So, Fallen Dreams, you've been working, you've been streaming, keeping busy. Oh, Reagan wasn't a big drinker, and Yeltsin was a barely functional alcoholic. Reagan's problem was getting shot and suffering brain damage when he stopped breathing. There's no question Reagan had extremely bad brain damage for the last couple of years of his term. I knew that was going to happen. The ice was going to move. And I'm going to have to wash my face before going to bed. My face will just smell like booze. Smoky booze. Which US president drank the most? Excellent question. And I have nothing to base this on, but I'm going to go with either Teddy Roosevelt or LBJ, Lyndon Baines Johnson, who was never elected, but took over when JFK got shot. Just Teddy Roosevelt was a fucking madman. I just assume he was drinking all the time. And LBJ was a pretty fucking crazy Texan. And I think he was probably drinking all the time too. And yes, well, Reagan and Thatcher fucked their countries with the same policies. And to a lesser degree, it happened in Australia as well. Well, yeah, and everyone knows. Well, everyone thinks Supreme Court justices they don't agree with play politics. I don't mind the three arm of government thing that's explicit in the US, the executive, because we don't have an executive branch. We kind of sort of do with the Governor General, but not really. The Governor General certainly doesn't legislate. Uh, but the executive branch, as in the president and his cabinet, the judicial branch, the courts, and the legislative branch, the Congress and Senate. Why do you say that, Justin? LBJ didn't win an election. Am I wrong? I'm almost sure LBJ didn't win an election. And Ford was vice president and got made president when Nixon resigned before he could be prosecuted. Did LBJ win an election? Okay, here's where I'm going to learn something I didn't know. 64 presidential campaign, Lyndon B. Johnson was a successful campaign for Johnson and Hubert Humphrey. Oh, they were the ones who were against Goldwater, who was fucking nutcase. Okay. See, thank you. I'm not surprised you know it. I'm not surprised you know it better than me, Justin. LBJ did win an election. I didn't know that, actually. Oh, see, when I was a teenager, Safa, news sources were much more constrained. It was just broadcast networks and big media companies. There was no internet or anything. So, in other words, we got shit tons of US news because that would get reported all the time. And honestly, on a whole spectrum of things, US politics can affect our lives here more than fucking local politics. Such is the sway of the global US empire. Okay, that bit of ice is too big. Wait, was Ford not vice president? Again, I'm not surprised you know more about this than me. Um, was Ford VP? Did Ford? I was saying Ford was vice president under. Oh, sorry. I think I understand what you're saying, Justin. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did Nixon's elected vice? Well, you're not elected vice president, but you run as vice president. Uh, the president nominates you as their vice, or am I? No, no, no. You don't vote for. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, but you don't vote for vice president. But if I'm right, what you're saying is Nixon ran with a different VP, and that VP had to resign, and Ford got appointed. So Ford was not involved in the election. Ford was Speaker of the House. Sorry, never the Speaker of the House. House Minority Leader. No, I was looking up. Was Gerald Ford confirmed as... vice presidency. Yes. Okay. So Spiro Agnew had run with Nixon in the election, and Spiro Agnew had to resign, and Ford got appointed vice president. So he was never... Well, that's a question of semantics, but I get what you're saying. The president runs saying, "This is my vice president," but no one votes for vice president. But yes, I get what you're saying now. I looked it up. That the VP that Nixon ran with was Spiro Agnew, and Spiro Agnew had to resign, and then Ford was appointed vice president. So yeah, Ford was never part of a successful election campaign. He did, of course, campaign to be re-elected as president, but he was defeated by Carter. Well, technically, Trump doesn't have the position of president, actually, unless I've missed it. Like, they have to have their thing where they formally nominate him as president. Yes, Frank Underwood style. That's how it happened. Justin. House of Cards. I only watched 1 or 2 episodes of the American version. For those who don't know, House of Cards was originally a novel written by a British author about the Prime Minister of England. And what was funny, in the first, he wrote a novel, and he actually killed the creepy guy who got to be prime minister. He actually killed him off at the end, and then the BBC bought the rights to make a series, and they saw some life in it, so they didn't kill the character off. And then they said to the guy, "We want to do a second one. Do you want to write a second House of Cards novel?" And he said, "Okay." And he wrote another novel, and he killed the guy off again at the end of it. BBC ran another series based on the novel, didn't kill him off again. And they said, "That was really successful too. We want to do a third series. Do you want to write a third novel?" And he goes, "Okay, I'll write a third novel." And he wrote a third novel, and he goes, "Okay, this time I won't kill him off because they keep wanting more." The BBC made a third series and killed him off at the end of it. I just think the BBC were being dicks to the author, quite honestly. Hey, Pat, how you doing? So he's saying, Loogie, yes, Biden is the incumbent. Republicans need to do the formal nomination. I don't think the Republican Party has a choice but to formalize the nomination of Trump unless something extremely dramatic happens. And apparently, being convicted of 32 felonies is not dramatic enough. Oh, yeah, Safra, I was just doing spoilers for a 20-year-old TV series and series of novels. Spoilers! But both the books and the BBC series are very good. I only watched about the first 2 episodes of the American one, which of course all got spoiled by Kevin Spacey being outed as a fucking creep and serial sex pest. That's sorry, Justin. That's a good one. You got me. Australian House of Cards should star Sam Dastiari as the Frank character. That's pretty good. I lost track. You're saying 36? Because I lost track. I don't even know. But yeah, it's a whole thing. Ugh. I would normally stick a cherry in there, but this thing of ice is too stupidly large, and a cherry won't fit in there. So fuck it, I guess. Oh, Pat, what have you posted on the Discord? Let me see. Posted in memes, and I bet it's not a meme. Ah, you went and saw Despicable Me? Despicable Me 4. Wait, what's this? What's your rating of Despicable Me 4, Pat, by the way? Always key. You've had a good run with movies. You've been enjoying them. I like to see you enjoying stuff. Oh my god, that is so fucking good. Okay, I don't know why I make any other fucking clarified cocktails. The one with the coconut milk is the best. Justin, you think this should do an Australian version? Especially with Dastiari as Frank. I don't know. Sam Dastiari seems to have a real ego. I don't know if we want to do that for him as well. Ah, dear. He probably would have had a really big future if he didn't get into some very questionable dealings. So, Ray, do you reckon, because Pat's been so enthusiastic about movies, if he ever tells us one's shit, we're going to believe him? Because it must be really bad. But to a degree, I think, honestly, of all Pat's rave reviews, I haven't seen all of them, but I think the only one I might disagree with is the Netflix one, the J-Lo one. I don't have high hopes for that. Pat gave it a good rap. So, okay, I think the yes is Despicable Me 4 is good. What's your rating? Best movie, 20 out of 20? What does it score? Yeah, he was a faction, but like Dastiari definitely had a big future, but 40 out of 40. Nice. Okay. Top score for Despicable Me 4. I actually like the Despicable Me movies and the Minions. Maybe overdone, but I think they're funny. I like them. Oh god, that's right, Lukey. You're getting pasted by high temperatures. We are getting the coldest weather we've had in literally decades in New South Wales and Victoria, particularly. East Coast generally. Oof. You're a long walk. Don't eat your bacon. Damn. Ray's Pat's not actually wrong. He's just so enthusiastic. No, that's what I agree with you. Yeah, no. Pat has been so positive with the movies he's been seeing. If he says one sucks, I agree with you 100%, Rays. If Pat says a movie sucks, I'm going to go, that movie has really got to suck. But I honestly think I probably agree with all Pat's ratings. And this is just a vibe thing because I haven't seen them. I have questions about the J-Lo one, but I think I basically agree with Pat's ratings. Woe betide the movie that gets a bad rating from Pat, because that's got to be a sucky movie. What did I finally watch on the weekend? Godzilla -1. Hell of a good Godzilla movie. Yeah, I love that. Pat's ratings are amazing. I don't fear the most dangerous hitman in the criminal underworld. Nothing like that. Justin, you going hard to be Sam Dastiari's publicist. I honestly, I was pretty much a Sam Dastiari fan until he did some stupid shit. Ugh. But you know, politicians will do that to you. They'll disappoint you and leave you thinking, "What the fuck was that, buddy? Why did you do that?" This is just the way it goes. Look at this. Okay. So I got my absolutely huge chunk of clear ice in here that is barely melted. This is the other thing. Besides looking cool, this ice melts much more slowly than regular ice. Like I could put that back in the freezer. I'm not. Oh, am I going to? No, fuck it. I've got heaps. It's just frozen water, and I'm going to make some more. Yeah, actually, to his massive credit, Sam Dastiari actually copped to it and said, "Yep, this was a really bad mistake, and I have to resign." And politicians who will do that are a bit thin on the ground, quite honestly. So I absolutely do think that's in the plus column for Sam Dastiari. That he just fucking wore it and said, "Yep, I fucked up and I have to resign." Again, disappointing because he showed a lot of promise. We're up to 9:13. Okay. I'm only half Tim Smith, to quite honest. I need to taste this one. So this was the liqueur I made. So this is a mixed brandy and whiskey liqueur. And I put lily pilly or native fruit that had been soaked in sugar in it. And I want to see what this tastes like. If it is, it's gone a little bit purple, which is neat because the lily pillies are a very bold red. Oh, I do remember that. He was on the politician episode of You Can't Ask. Hey, Micro, thank you for that. The temperature is 36. Yeah, the US and actually Europe too has been getting pasted with temperatures. Fucking bad. And we're just getting the coldest weather that we've had in absolute yonks. All right, so I want this to. What's this taste like? Oh man, that's really. That's really fucking good. Sorry, you all are missing out on this. Oh yeah, a micro. Australia's not the only place that gets heat, but Ray's spent our summer working in heat, the same as your heat, working building sites. And Safa is giving you, yeah, Micro and Loogie, both good advice. Keep hydrated. So yeah, I'm not surprised you're liking the cold, Rays, after those fucking brutal days on the building sites in summer. Man, that's actually probably a little too sweet. I should make highballs with it. Oh, ooh, that's an interesting one, Justin. An ex-Liberal politician had to go on welfare because he couldn't find a job. It's pretty interesting. So, as you live in for winter after being stuck in somewhere with no aircon and working construction? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I felt real. on the east coast of Australia, we had a really mild, surprisingly mild summer, but Razor's on the west coast and they had a really fucking hot summer, and he was working construction sites. It's like, god damn. Oh my god, that is so fucking good. Oh, that is fucking yummy. And yes, Justin, I agree. There's irony in a conservative anti-welfare politician being on welfare. Also, I'd really want to look into their claim. Oh, you had to go on welfare? What jobs did you apply for? Because there are a bunch of jobs. You know, you make more working at McDonald's than you would on welfare. Why don't you work at McDonald's? Because you think it's beneath you. That's why. Fuck you, man. That's right. In the middle of our summer, you actually did jet across to the States. So, but why won't Justin name them? I think it's because they're not very well known. Micro, your bike brake failed. Oh no. Bike brakes failing. I swear I've had heaps of dreams of being in a car and the brakes not working very well and just like really standing on the brakes and the car only slowing down really slowly. Oh yeah. New York winters are notorious. You can't ask that. Is that ABC or SBS? I can't remember, Justin. I feel like it's ABC, but I'm not 100% sure. See, those are all words. I know what some of them mean. The rubber seal for the bleed port failed and the fluid leaked out. Yeah, fluid breaks can be a problem. Okay, it's ABC. You can't ask that, so you can probably watch it on iView. Oh my god, that's so fucking yummy. I think another day I will make a highball with that because it's super fucking yummy. Yum, yum, yum. All right. So I also know what I'm going to do next time I use some of my lily pilly to make more syrup. Oh, maybe I'll just put I put them in a liqueur and it's super sweet. Maybe just put them in a booze. Ooh, like a rum. Make a fruit rum or a whiskey. A fruit whiskey actually sounds like a really good idea. I don't know. Like you had a Serbian woman staying one winter. Said your winters were New York winters are full on. When you have the really cold winters, they make the news here. Um, yeah, it's fierce snowstorm. The Serbian said never seen anything that bad. So you survived near Duluth blizzard season can easily. I just also remember Canadian friends of mine talking about it getting to minus 30, minus 40, and fucking 3-meter snow drifts, and that all just sounds absolutely unhinged to me. Quite recent, quite true. Oh, so now we're all talking about super cold. But I think the coldest I've been in, I think it was minus 14 Celsius in Bathurst. That's pretty cold. Even when I went to the snow, it wasn't that cold. When it snows in Bathurst, it doesn't really settle. It snowed a couple of times when I was in Bathurst, but it was just really light and it didn't really settle. But you would just get bitingly cold nights. Ray's your dad's wife's Mongolian and lived there for a fair while. Oh yeah, actually, northern China, very fucking cold. But okay, that's northerners here. For you, micro southerners live in warm weather and freaking cold. Northerners here, like in Darwin, which is like the equivalent um, temperature-wise of Miami. If the maximum's lower than like 20 Celsius, they freak out. Ah, I love that phrase. Your Irish heritage. Summer kills you faster than vampires. Oh, damn. So you're both from the north, built for cold but not heat. I have seen very funny memes from Southerners in the US, and they're mocking themselves. If it's just like, you know, if the weather forecast is lower than 50 Fahrenheit, everyone freaks out. They're all going to die. Oh man, that is so fucking yummy. All right. Well, I have a bit of time to think about what I'm going to put the sugary lily pillies in next time I make some. I'm kind of leaning towards whiskey. Make a sweet whiskey liqueur. It'd be fucking yummy. Yes, and Safa, you're from southern Russia. Again, cold as fuck. I love that, Loogie. 35 to 40 Fahrenheit, shorts weather. Nice. Not me. I'm not particularly fond of the cold. Yeah, no, that's this what the memes sort of are. 2 inches of snow, they freak out. Everyone crashes on the highways, and they clean out the supermarket shelves. They don't cope at all. Oh my god, that was so fucking yummy. I'm so spoiled. they lost the Civil War because they couldn't deal with cold. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, well, you're gonna have bad memories of heat for the rest of your life, Rays. Fucking construction work in Perth, 40 plus Celsius. Jesus. That's friggin' nightmarish. I had actually intended to like put some mineral water on this ice, but it's just been sitting there melting, so I don't have icy cold water, which is really refreshing. Mm. I was thinking, like with my barrels there's one empty one. I was thinking of doing something non-alcoholic because I'd seen a couple things recently. It's giving me ideas for non-alcoholic things. Like I actually think of like barrel aging some tea, make some tea and barrel age it, and then combine it with sugar syrup and maybe fruit juices, or maybe just sugar syrup and make, and so then it's like a barrel aged sweet tea. Maybe some fruit juices too, and make a cocktail from it. I don't know. So, Michael, you've decided you are a cat and you're a scientist. All right. You can decide that. That's fine. Right. You're in 2024, the South would win. I mean, honestly, you could be right. And they'd have to attack in summer, though, because I think Micro's right. They wouldn't survive winter. The South can't be traced. Oh my God. There's trying to remember his name. Of all the various US stand-up comedians. It's really funny. And it's just like the whole thing of the South will rise going to fight the government. He goes, I think we should do it. It should be a televised thing once a year. Get all these people and the militias in the South and whatnot who say they're going to take over and say, like, yep, get it together, go for it, and they charge. And their opposition from the government is just a dude in a bunker running drones and just fucking drone striking them. Hey, Megaleech, how you going? Is that a difference, right? North drinks Gatorade, South drinks H2O. Michael, I don't know if you mentioned it. Saw a bunch of clips of Civil War movie. Oh, okay. So, two things about the movie Civil War, which I have seen. It's not intended to be realistic. It's literal, and in fact, there's some odd stuff in it. But what they're just trying to posit a world where, you know what, it happened. There's an insurrection, and there are a couple of hints in the movie that it's basically set about 20 years into the future, 20 to 30 years into the future. And it's literally just going, okay, Micro, I'm just saying you haven't understood the context if you think that's a thing. Yeah. No, honestly, I think that's a lack of understanding on your part. It's literally saying, because that's at a point where, again, this is fiction. So you have to take that into account. But it's a fiction where the US government is completely collapsing. So US currency is borderline worthless. Whereas other countries, which aren't at war, their currencies continue to be of value. That is a perfectly straight. And again, given the fictional construct of a civil war where the US government is collapsing, that is a completely logical and realistic scenario in that the US currency would be basically worthless, because all currency is essentially worthless if you don't have faith in the government that backs it. And if the US government is collapsing, it makes US currency worthless. Again, it's fiction. Oh, yeah, gold hoarders and whatnot. Okay, but I have to admit, the funniest thing here is when scam artists on like Fox News and stuff have promoted investing in gold, and it's like you don't have actual gold, you have some certificate that is supposedly it's worth nothing. But yeah, people who hoard actual gold, actual silver and whatnot, that's potentially a thing. Yeah, but that scene with the Canadian money actually being worth something, that would be real. Again, it's a fictional context, which, you know, is not something that's necessarily going to happen. But within that fictional construct, that thing about the Canadian money actually being sought after, that would be real and consistent. You're saving some stones down on the ground. I mean, you know, it all works. I mean, having actual gold and actual silver hoards, I'm like, you know, okay, that might work for you. But it is particularly funny that the various talking head grifters on Fox News have done ads for these ridiculous things about, yeah, you know, invest in this. And it's, you don't actually have any gold. You have a piece of paper that says these people are, it's a scam. I actually, a Micro, the way they labeled the forces, the Texas, California, Western forces, that was kind of a mistake, I think, because that sounded so weird. Like saying there was a Texas California coalition. That was just too weird. Well, see, that's the whole thing. Bunch of ransacking and whatnot. But that movie, Civil War, I think is really good. You can pick at some things, and honestly, the biggest things I will pick at is the Texas California thing. So great. Although at least half of California is hyper conservative. There's the cliche that it's all Hollywood liberal elites, but at least half of California, most of it's farms, and even the rich parts, half of them are hyper conservative. But that was the bit. I don't think they should have done the Texas California Western Forces, because that just sounds too weird. They should have just said Western Forces. There was the Southern Coalition and the Western Forces, who were both converging on DC. They shouldn't have said Texas, California. That was too weird. But that's kind of the only thing. Oh no, there's one other bit that I won't pick on because it's too big a spoiler. But it's pretty big and it's right near the end. But yeah. Loogie, I think it would be wise to not get involved if the country devolved into civil war. And yeah, Micro, yeah, absolutely good point. The big cities tend to lean left and the rest of the state leans right. That is also true here in Australia. But yeah, just generally as a movie, Civil War is really quite good. There are things you can pick on in it, but there's things you can pick on in any movie. It's Micro, New York City, liberal state, small towns, countries, right leaning. Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, it's the same here as well. The thing is, people don't realize an overwhelming majority of the rich people in California are hyper conservative. Look at like Orange County and whatnot. Yeah, values, opinions change where you live. That is true. But also, you know, a huge part of it is the bullshit that's spewed out by politicians and media outlets as well. And everyone, I think most people have the shortcoming of falling into, when someone says something I want to hear, I decide they're right. And that's whether it's a politician or a media outlet or a celebrity or whatever. It's just like, oh no, they said a thing I wanted to hear, therefore they're right. I think most people, and I'm including myself in that, I think most people succumb to that. It's kind of, yeah. So we end up with politicians and media outlets and public figures who fucking talk shit because they know it's going to hit with someone. Someone's going to go, yeah, I agree with that. Now leaning towards saving this bit of ice. Ah, yes, but you don't want to invade Florida. But are the people of Florida, or the militias of Florida, actually going to leave Florida? That's a different thing. If they leave Florida, they'll probably get beaten. But if someone tries to, repress Florida, it's probably going to end badly. So are you saying that's the smallest place you lived in? 1,200 people, no police department. Yeah, there are a lot of very small towns where I grew up. Dubbo, the big town, was between 15 and 20,000 people. But there were just heaps of small towns all around. So your thing, Rays? Make the United States of Florida great again? Yeah. Well, you get people on board with that, I think. They do things different in Florida. It's the way it is. Why am I hearing so many loud? I don't know if this microphone picks it up. The audio recorder I use for the video does pick it up. Same as the United States of Texas and its 49 pitches. Oh, God. Sam Games, hello. Do you play games, Sam? That's what I'm assuming. Loogie, you grew up 1,000 people, one police department, 5 cops, you knew them all. Yeah, there was a proper police thing, but often in the small towns around here, there would be like literally one cop. Sam, what are you liking in the game world at the moment? I'm not a huge gamer, but I do like games. So I'm always keen when someone is an avid gamer, I'm keen to find out what it is they're liking at the moment. Well, again, it's just a movie. Oof. You don't believe Americans would slaughter innocent civilians? You haven't seen the number of shootings that happen in America? And people are just starting to drive their car into protesters they don't like? I don't understand that at all. I don't try and predict the future. I'd kind of side with you, Rays, that a civil war's probably not going to happen. I did see that. There was one of the southern states, they're going to force the 12 commandments to be on the wall of schools, which is wild, which is, of course, going to be challenged in courts and will almost certainly be overthrown in courts, because of the Constitution. But who the fuck knows, man? We live in crazy times, is all I can say. Oh, fuck yeah. Man. I say this all the time, but I always feel vaguely self-conscious when I taste like a drink that I've made and go, man, that's really fucking good. Because I think it's me being vain, saying I make really good things. But fucking A, I've got some really fucking yummy things here. It's a miracle I don't have a drinking problem. I know it's pretty core, the separation of church and state. But who knows? Celtic, I do tend to agree that the human species generally is a bit off kilter. How Tim Smith? More than half? Not fully though. And again, half Tim Smith is don't drive a car. Hey Sam, yeah, happy Pride Month. And also, in case you didn't realize why the name I have for this one, today is the anniversary of the rainbow pride flag being flown for the first time. It was at a rally in 1978, the first time the rainbow flag was used as a symbol of gay liberation. So it's happy birthday to the pride flag. Also, why this month is Pride Month, because it's the anniversary of the Stonewall riots and the first big pride parades. Mike, you reckon crime's gone up in New York City? Who knows? The way crime stuff gets reported is very weird. I'm definitely going to... This is a huge bit of ice. I'm going to save it. So Sam, you didn't say what games are you playing, or what are the good games at the moment? Because I'm just still playing Red Dead Redemption 2. I literally played some before the stream, just for a bit of fun. Just go on a murder spree. Just like get all my antisocial tendencies out of my system in a game. Because you can just go blasting motherfuckers in that game and it's fun. What are you up to? 9:41. All right. I think here's what I'm going to do. I am going to save this bit of ice and use it again. It's like barely 10% of it is melted. And it's hard to make. So I'm going to disappear for, again, less than a minute. Let's say 30 seconds. I'm going to put this back in the freezer. Ugh. Won't take long. I'll be back really soon and we can keep having this really bleak conversation. And I'm back. Told you it won't take long. Ugh. Sorry, Dude was 25. What did I miss that you said? Curious about San Francisco of the future. Detroit coming back slowly. San Fran falling apart. Look, who knows? It's complicated. Micro, I think you are swallowing lies you've been told there, quite honestly. All right. That's a thing. All right. Quick comparison of these things. The base liqueur and then the sweetened fruity liqueur. No, so I want to show this off. I don't know if I've shown it enough. I think, okay. Can you see the? Oh, you can see them. The worms in my mezcal. Now that's not really traditional. That's a weird touristy thing. But those two worms, they were in a bottle of mezcal. I don't know, 10 years ago, and I just keep swapping them between bottles. And it was a running joke I had. That I was going to force Aidsy to eat the mezcal worms at one point. Of course, I can't do that. So at some point, I got to force someone else to eat the mezcal worms. Even though purists would be upset because it's actually not traditional to put worms in mezcal. It's just a silly tourist thing. I mean, you can also get tequila that has a scorpion in it. Oh, man, that's fucking yummy. Celtic, you'd eat the worm? Bold man. Those worms have been fermenting in alcohol for over a decade. So, and the thing, you can't just, that would also be the rule if I got someone to eat them. You can't just swallow it. You actually have to chew it up. Having said that, I've eaten bugs, mealworms, and crickets and other things. I've mentioned this before. Mrs. Angry got me a bunch of them for my birthday one year for a laugh. They didn't really taste of anything because they'd been like air fried or something, and they were like chunky, crunchy. That's super yummy. What does this taste like? This might be too sweet. That's pretty wild. That's pretty strange. Have you ever seen a jellyfish? That shit's crazy. Celtic, you're gonna come in. Oh my god, that's so fucking yummy. Delicioso. That's so fucking yum. Okay. I shall have to filter the fruit. I don't know if it even shows up, if you can see the little fruit things in there. Maybe a little bit. Maybe you can see it a little bit. Native Australian fruit, lily pilly. It's been soaked in sugar. Oh, it's so super. Okay, what are you up to? 9:47. All right, I'm just winding up. Also, I'm not going to be doing a Thursday night stream this week because I'm going to an event that I'm hopefully recording. An event about booze, namely about whiskey from a local distiller. So I shan't be doing a stream on Thursday night, but probably doing one on Friday night and probably doing one on Saturday night. So, yeah. So that's a whole thing. Okay. Und so. Is there anything interesting in the news? Oh, he's interesting. What jurors we're talking? Okay, this isn't a very Australian thing. A guy who killed two campers, but what the jurors weren't told. For weeks, they sat through evidence. Jury heard from people. They delivered their verdict. Found the guy guilty of murdering one person, but not the other. There was plenty they were able to hear. That plenty the jury wasn't able to hear. From secret recordings to police blunders and an extravagant plan to put the jury in a military helicopter. Jury was also not told about the self-inflicted overdose death of Lynn's former wife 25 years ago. Coroner later found investigators did not reveal any suspicious circumstances. Oh God, so he may have killed a former wife. Okay. Prosecutors were almost forced to drop murder charges. Judge ruled prosecutor would not be allowed to argue the jury that his incriminating conduct pointed to an act of murder. That includes covering up the murder. The judge said prosecutors could only use incriminating conduct evidence to prove Lynn committed an unlawful killing, such as manslaughter. Given prosecutors had no eyewitnesses, they wanted to argue his actions afterwards proved he committed murder. Left the Crown with two options: drop the murder charges, pursue Lynn for manslaughter, or challenge the Justice Croucher's ruling in the Court of Appeal. Grounds of appeal will essentially be Your Honour was wrong. Weeks later, Court of Appeal sided with prosecution, putting the case back on track, setting the stage for Lynn's murder trial. Justice Croucher did not permit prosecutors to play secret recordings of Lynn, which were taken from devices placed in his home and his car. Judge said it was irrelevant. The recording showed him 8 months after the fatal conflict, alone in his car, muttering to himself. A week before his arrest, he was at home with his wife. He watched a 60 Minutes program. Contained a photograph of mystery vehicle and artist's impression of it. An audio recording captured Liz Lim bursting into high-pitched hysterical laughter. Looks like your car. It really does. Not funny. Okay, that's weird. Okay, this again, this is one of the most high-profile legal things in Australia. It's pretty wild. Oh well. Now it's just a question of sentencing, I guess, and if anyone's appealing anything. What else is happening? Canadian baffled by vital Aussie habit. Okay, what are we doing that a Canadian finds weird? Instead of warm houses, we have snugly fitting clothing. Well, Canadians have houses that are for cold weather, honestly. Indoor thermal wear. The Udi? Okay, I don't have one of those. Might be the ugliest thing you've ever seen, but vital to survive in Australian winter. Ugg boots. Okay, well, I treat them as slippers, but for the first time in my life, I have Ugg boots now. So, and puffer jackets. Yeah, it is super fucking weird how many people wear puffer. I don't have a puffer jacket. I don't have an Udi. I don't have a puffer jacket. This winter is the first winter I've had Ugg boots. And that's just because they were on sale. I wouldn't have had them if they weren't on sale. Oh, sorry. Raisin Micro talking about Australia's history with the gingers. Yeah, there's a valid case to be made. The colonizers of Australia may have treated the Indigenous people worse than Indigenous people were treated anywhere. Although you could probably find a few worse ones. Okay, I said that. It's a little bit different, but the English in India killed millions, mainly through starvation and whatnot. But the English in India killed millions, which is worse than what happened in Australia. And various colonizers in Africa did absolutely horrific things. And in fact, worse than what happened in the United States as well. I think a case can be made Australia treated its native people worse than colonizers in North America treated their native people. But oof, there's some bad stuff done by colonizers. When was white Australia formally abolished? Excellent question. When did white Australia policy end? That auto completed 1973. The Whitlam Labor government definitively renounced the white Australia policy in 1973. So 50 years ago, basically. Oh, that's what we call the stolen generations, Micro, that literally taking mixed race children away for their own good. I know. That was like only 50 years ago that we renounced a policy that was explicitly racist. Oof, that's what they say. Damn. I'm sure there's people who'd like to bring it back, quite honestly. Um, we have some real units in this country, got to say. Messed up people. What are you going to do, eh? What are you going to do? Your mate's uncle stolen generator. People my age were fucking stolen from their families. You get these fucking racists and denialists about what happened, and they pretend it was the ancient thing, and it's not. It's people my age got stolen from their families. The fucking frontier wars and massacres of unarmed indigenous people happened into the 20th century. And the idea that you should pretend it didn't happen is fucked. Justin, when did Australia become noticeably more multicultural? Okay, so post World War II, we had big European, non-English speaking European migration, but they were ostensibly white. Italians, Western and Central Europeans. So that was a big change then. But in the 70s, we had a wave of after the Vietnam War, we had a wave of Vietnamese immigration. And Malcolm Fraser, and he was very conservative, Liberal Party Prime Minister, he was a big proponent of Australia had a responsibility to help these people. It's a thing that he's reviled for by conservative Liberal Party people today. But he was very big in multiculturalism. So there was a well, actually, you could argue the first wave might have been Chinese gold miners in the 1800s, and some stayed and established market gardens and probably saved a lot of people's lives. Then there was post World War II, a bunch of non-English speaking Europeans migrated and changed things a lot. And then in the 70s, there was another wave of largely Vietnamese, but broadly Asian migrants. And in the 2000s, as Ray said, we probably had another wave that'd be of African refugees and migrants. But yeah, it depends how you measure it. But I think by the 70s, the post-World War II, particularly like Italian and Greek migrants and descendants of Italian and Greek migrants were very mainstream. And then the new Australians then were Southeast Asian. And, they kind of got mainstream since, and the last 20 years, we've had a significant influx of African refugees and migrants. You reckon 2,000 small Indians? Maybe, yeah, I think we got a lot of Indian migrants with the internet, really, and technology and whatnot. Yeah, and you may be right that a real surge in African migration is more the 2010s. It can be fair. But I mean, we've had, because, India was part of the British Empire, we've certainly had Indian people migrating since post-World War II in noticeable numbers. But yeah, I think there was definitely a surge with technology jobs in the 90s and 2000s. And we say broadly the subcontinent, taking in India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. Let's see. Yeah, the South Sudanese, but also broader parts of Africa as well in the 2010s. But, it's all a rich tapestry, as they say. And anyway, that's brought us up to 10 o'clock. So I'm going to go to bed and go sleepy bobos. So you fine folk take care. As I said, not doing a Thursday night stream because I'm going to an event. I never do Wednesday night streams. I'm actually going to do some takeaway with the offspring tomorrow. So yeah, no Thursday stream, but very probably a Friday stream and a Saturday stream this week. So we'll see how we go. So you fine folk, take care of yourselves. I'll see you somewhere down the line, but I will say